inspection. With your permission, I take the notice of the meeting on the auditor's report as read. There are no qualifications in the secretarial auditors or the statutory auditor's report. As we meet again in virtual mode, the pandemic has resulted in muted consumer demand along with disruption in production, supply chain and retail networks. Against this backdrop, I would like to summarize the performance of your company in the last fiscal year and also lay out how the company is positioning itself for future through a set of priorities and goals. Once again, it is my pleasure and privilege to be speaking with you at this AGM of your company. First and foremost, I hope you are safe and in good health. I would like to take this opportunity to share my thoughts. The fiscal year 2021 has been amongst the most challenging to date, with COVID-19 creating a crisis of unprecedented scale and impact across the world. The swiftness and intensity of the pandemic, as well as its multiple waves, overwhelmed the health systems, devastated lives and livelihoods. For our company, Tata Motors also, it was a very difficult year. Our immediate focus during the year was the safety and well-being of our employees and our ecosystem partners. Despite our best efforts, we lost 91 people in this fight. Our heartfelt condolences to their families and loved ones. I would now like to observe a minute of silence. The company is with their families and will do everything they can to support them. The pandemic resulted in muted consumer demand along with disruptions in production, supply chain and retail networks. To address this crisis, we put in place a comprehensive business continuity plan. Our agile and ecosystem-centric ways of working helped us to absorb the initial shock of total lockdowns, but as the demand started coming back, the company shifted gears to significantly scale up capacities and moved fast to serve customer demand and thereby ending the year on a much stronger note. Overall, the business improved its EBIT margins by 260 basis points to rupees 6,471 crores and the auto free cash flows of rupees 5,317 crores, despite the volumes declining by 10.3% during the year to 9,03,000 units, and the revenues declining by 4% to 2.5 lakh crores. While the overall industry volumes declined by 6.1%, our domestic business grew 2% by volumes, 7% by revenues, and showed an overall improvement in EBIT margins by 370 basis points. Now, specifically moving on to the segments, the passenger car segment was the star performer of our India business. A shift to personal mobility over public transport and rising preference for our new forever range of cars and SUVs led to the PV business recording its highest ever annual sales in 8 years and growing its market share to 8.2%, almost doubling. Currently, we are continuing to improve the market share and are touching double digits. The launch of Altro's iTurbo and the iconic Safari in their all-new avatar have been received extremely well. Additionally, the reimagined PV strategy to rejuvenate front-end sales and dealership while stepping up customer experience has delivered very good results. Within PV, the performance of the EV business is particularly noteworthy. We strengthened our market leadership to 71.4%, led by sales of more than 4,000 Nexon EV units since its launch last year. EV penetration has now doubled to 2% of our overall PV volumes by end of March 2021, and by the subsequent quarter it is touching 3%. Overall, PV volumes grew by a robust 69%, even as the overall industry volumes reduced by 2%, while within the PV segment, the EV volumes grew by 218%. Coming to the commercial vehicles, the commercial vehicle sales typically mirrored the economic growth, and the reduction in the overall economic activity resulted in the CV volumes dropping by 23.4% during the year. Amidst a tough demand scenario, Tata Motors CV business posted sequential quarter-on-quarter growth on the back of improved customer sentiment, buoyancy in e-commerce, firming freight rates, and higher infrastructure demand. We improved our market share in the medium and heavy commercial vehicle segment to 58.1%. This was a 410 basis point improvement over the FY18, and the ILCV segment to 45.9%. However, we were disappointed with the SCV performance, where our market shares went down by 250 basis points to 37.5%. The company is committed to win in this segment too, and is taking considered actions with a rich product portfolio and by driving smarter engagements with customers. A word about Tata Motor Finance. The Tata Motor Finance business has also delivered a very strong performance in a very, very difficult year for NBFC company. The assets under management grew by rupees 5,928 crores to touch 42,810 crores, and it delivered a PBT of 266 crores and a pre-tax ROE of 9.2%. Also, it will be appropriate at this moment for me to personally thank Mr. Gunther Buschek, who led the company very ably in the India business during the last 5 years. Now, coming to Jaguar Land Rover, the Jaguar Land Rover also delivered a resilient performance during the year. Retail sales declined 14% for the year, with China being the exception, which grew at a strong 23%. The all-new Land Rover Defender was a standout performer, clocking a robust 45,200 units for the full year, as well as winning the 2021 World Car Design of the Year award. Despite a 14% drop in revenues to 19.7 billion, the business improved its EBIT margins by 250 basis points to 2.6% and generated positive free cash flows of 185 million pounds. The Jaguar Land Rover, under the new CEO, has now unveiled its reimagined strategy to make the company a world leader in electrified luxury vehicles, sustainability, manufacturing efficiency, and new automotive technologies. Looking forward, as the impact of the pandemic recedes globally, with more people getting vaccinated, we expect demand to remain strong, with consumer preferences shifting further towards personal mobility. The supply situation, however, is expected to be adversely impacted for the next few months due to disruptions from the COVID-19 lockdowns in India and the semiconductor shortage worldwide for the auto industry. This will take a little bit of time to work through. This will impact our production volumes, sales, cash flows and margins in near term. We expect the situation will improve in the second half of 2022 of this fiscal year, even as the broader underlying structural capacity issues resolve with new capacities coming online. Some level of shortages will therefore continue. I take this opportunity to thank the management and staff of the company and express my deep appreciation for their immense contribution during the year. And also I would like to mention a few additional points. The company declared a goal to go a zero debt company by FY24. The last year, due to internal cash flows and a tight management, we were able to reduce the debt by over 7,500 crores. And we are very much on our path and stay committed to meet our target of FY24. And also I would like to say that Tata Motors business has three fundamentally strong businesses: the India passenger vehicles business, the commercial vehicles business, and the JLR business. All of these business are completely run independently, and wherever there are synergies, strong collaboration has been facilitated. And structurally, the businesses have achieved a lot of efficiency through various transformation initiatives in such a way that the break-even volumes have come down in each of these businesses. So we believe the company is well poised to capture and deliver very strong financial performance as the volumes pick up in each one of these individual segments, as the demand picks up in the commercial vehicles and the supply side issues get resolved in the passenger car businesses and JLR businesses, in addition to additional pickup in demand. With those words, I would like to thank all of you shareholders for your continued trust and support in our journey ahead. Thank you all very much. Now, with those words, I would now request Mr. Balaji, Group CFO, to make a presentation on the company's performance to highlight the key aspects.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, shareholders. It's my pleasure to take you through the performance of Tata Motors Group over the last 1 year, and also give you a brief outlook of how we see things from here on. Moving to the next slide, please. This is a standard safe harbor statement that is there. Next slide. During FY21, we had a strong all-round performance that has got delivered despite the pandemic. The chairman quickly alluded to that. And what you see in your slide is the performance of this business over the last 3 years, FY19, FY20 and FY21. And we've also tried to give you quarter-wise how this performance has moved. And you would notice that the growth as well as the profitability has improved right through the course of the year. And we ended the year with an EBITDA margin of 12.2%, which is higher by 370 bips, despite the overall wholesales declining by 10% and revenues declining by 4%. And this performance of 12.2% EBITDA, if you notice, during the course of the entire year, every quarter it has been increasing. And that tells you that intrinsically this business is getting stronger with every passing quarter. This EBITDA trends that you notice is also translated in the EBIT trends, where despite this volume decline, we delivered an EBITDA of 2.6%, and that brought down the automotive debt to 40,900 crores. Next slide, please. The other items that did impact the P&L during the course of this year was in the case of JLR, and I'll talk a little bit about the Project Reimagine, which is the new strategy that under Thierry's leadership has been introduced. We had to take a one-time non-cash write-down of 0.95 billion for those investments that we don't intend to be completed because of the change strategy, and also a restructuring cost of close to 0.5 billion, and which has a cash flow impact this year. This obviously will result in a lower D&A charge, but of course the net worth continues to be strong at 5.3 billion even after these exceptional charges. In the case of TML PV, you would recollect the previous year we had taken an impairment and an onerous contract provision. Thanks to the solid performance of this business, we have reversed it, and the impairment reversal is close to 1,200 crores, and the onerous contract has been reversed to the extent of 700 crores. The other item that is there is the PV subsidiarization process, where the final NCLT hearing has been concluded, and we are awaiting the final order. And the promoter has also infused 2,600 crores, taking their stake up to 45.82, exercising the warrants. Next slide, please. So moving on to Jaguar Land Rover. Next slide. It was an intense period of activity where, be it the launch of the Defender, which won the World Car Design of the Year, juicing it to the limit. 12 out of 13 nameplates have now been electrified. We now have almost 66% of our portfolio having electrified vehicles. Sales are from electrified versions. Charge Plus formally concluded, delivering 6 billion pounds of lifetime savings. And of course, Reimagine as a strategy has been launched as well. Next slide, please. And these are the stunning pictures of Defender, which actually is now a standout performer for Jaguar Land Rover. And there's more to be seen on this particular product. Next slide, please. Performance of the business in the same format as the earlier one. We've seen the last 3 years' performance as well as the quarterly performance of this year. You would notice that retails were down 14% and resulting in a revenue decline of 14%. And despite that, EBITDA went up by 390 bips. And this EBITDA, which ended at 12.8% during the course of the year, moved from 3.6% all the way up to 15.3%. A strong pickup that's coming through in JLR as the underlying business is performing now. And EBIT ended at 2.6%, but the EBIT exited at 7.5%. And free cash flow of 185 million, again improving right through the course of the year. So it just tells you the intrinsic performance of JLR is now increasing and on a very, very strong footing. Next slide, please. Retail sales at 440,000 units was down 13%, and across the world we got impacted because of the pandemic, and China alone being this lone growth performer there, up 12% year on year. And this is something up 127% year on year. And this is something which, as the year progresses, in this year also we are starting to see growth come through. Demand-wise, we are in a very good position. Next slide, please. From individual nameplates and there, you would notice the Defender being 45,200 units, the sole growth performer, while all other portfolios, as the year progressed, we were able to deliver growth, but obviously impacted by the pandemic during the year. Next slide, please. These are the 12 nameplates, where 12 out of these 13 have been completely electrified, and therefore we do have electric options available on most of our cars now. Next slide. Area around break-even, an area which we committed to reduce the break-evens of the business. The slide out there, just me take a minute to explain the slide to you. You have the years from FY14 all the way up to FY21. And the break-even numbers is the bars that you see. It had started increasing from 425,000 units and peaked at 600,000 units in FY19. But since then, we've been working hard to bring it down. And by FY21, you're now back to its lowest ever break-even that JLR had. And now at FY21, we are now less than 400 units. And last quarter, we were more like about 375,000 units. So this business is now intrinsically very viable, cash accretive, and in a good place. Next slide, please. Reimagine was a strategy that was launched where we are electrifying Jaguar and Land Rover brands. And by FY25, Jaguar will go fully electric. And we'll have 6 fully electric brands, fully electric nameplates in the Land Rover brand as well by FY25. And these are very large shifts happening and in line with where the market also is moving. And this accelerated path towards electrification will also make Jaguar Land Rover a premium luxury car manufacturer, and at the same time also ensure that we become net carbon neutral by 2039. Next slide, please. So what have we delivered in JLR? I think an encouraging turnaround despite COVID, 6 billion of cash and profit improvements over Project Charge that we committed to the market, significant improvement in the Chinese business and quality of sales, and break-evens, of course, reduced from 600 to 400K. And these, going forward, our plans are now being reimagined, so to speak, going fully luxury, modern luxury by design, electrification of the Jaguar and Land Rover brands, and a huge amount of collaboration happening between JLR and Tata Group as such, a right-sized global footprint, and positive free cash flows from FY23, and a net debt zero by FY24. So, and a double-digit EBIT margin by FY26. So you'd notice that we are getting fitter, we are future-focused and future-ready, and at the same time sustainably profit and cash positive. That's what the JLR story is for you. Next slide, please. Moving to Tata Motors, the standalone business here. Next slide. Again, an intense period of activity despite the pandemic, and this is, you would recollect, this is post BS6. So firstly, as part of the BS6 transition, we have now completely redesigned our portfolio, and we are setting new benchmarks when it comes to the way BS6 transition has happened. And this is in commercial vehicles. And in case of passenger vehicles, the new forever range of vehicles was unveiled in February last year and continues to do well for us. And of course, Tata Safari, the legend, has been reborn as well. And overall, the activity levels in the business, from a business continuity plan and shifting from there flexibly into a higher and higher production, has done well for us. Next slide, please. This is commercial vehicles where the market share is at 42.4%, with the key segments like medium and heavy commercial vehicles and intermediate and light commercial vehicles doing extremely well. Here again, the market shares have been progressively increasing as the year progressed. And we are the only area where we have a challenge on hand is the small commercial vehicles at 37.5%, which we are working to ensure we correct the same as well. Next slide, please. And a bit of sense on the customer metrics there, where our post-sales feedback has been consistently improving, now at 90.3%. Service feedback is also now increasing, where this is the feedback we get from our customers on our service levels. That is also at 92.4%. Net Promoter Score, which is a measure of how many people actually recommend us versus the number of people who do not recommend us, that number has also been significantly increasing. And Dealer Satisfaction Index also has been increasing. And we have been winning a series of awards as well. So the underlying business fundamentals, customer fundamentals, all showing healthy trends, which gives us a lot of satisfaction that we are on the right track in this business. Next slide, please. So what have we done in commercial vehicles? We have enhanced the competitiveness of our portfolio in the BS6 era, delivering sequential growth with mix actually improving as every quarter progressed. EBIT break-evens have been reduced by almost 25% in this business, and that's helping us now as we are seeing significant commodity inflation. A full-fledged 360-degree service offering called Sampurna Seva to deliver better service to our customers, and of course dealer profitability improvement. This is what we have delivered. And as we look ahead, we're clearly looking to win decisively with this product range that we have, which is doing very well for us. I think an area where we would definitely love to win back shares is market in small commercial vehicles and buses, and focus on other growth drivers like service, spares, used vehicles, international business, which will de-risk the cyclicality of this business. And we aim to achieve a double-digit EBITDA with a long-term capex of 3 to 4% of revenue, thereby this being an extremely strongly cash-positive business, which the chairman alluded to earlier. Next slide, please. Moving on to passenger vehicles, a clear standout performer this year, with market shares touching 8.2% and this quarter actually touching 10%. A record volume after 8 plus years. And here again, if you look at the growths of this business, industry declined 2%, we delivered 69% growth, and actually our EV business delivered 218% growth. And we are now sitting on our strongest order bank ever. And that puts us in a very good position to actually continuing to drive this business forward and on this momentum that we are already seeing. Nexon is now an EV leader in the market with 75% plus market share, selling 500 units per month, and you will see this increasing as the year progresses. Next slide, please. And here again, the brand metrics, which actually tells you finally where we are heading. The Net Promoter Score is now sitting at 30. It was at a low of 23, even lower before that. With 33 people promoting our products, 3 people actually had detractors. So the promoters to detractors delta is what you see as a Net Promoter Score, doing very well. Additionally, the brand has grown consistently on both awareness and consideration, and that tells you that all these point to the intrinsic strength of why we are on a very good story here. Next slide, please. So what have we delivered here? The most exciting range of products that Tata Motors ever had. A podium finish achieved with industry-beating growth, and a market share of 8.2% with EV at 71%. Highest absolute EBITDA in the last 10 years, and an Nexon EV emerging as an undisputed EV leader in this market. What are our plans going forward? We would definitely love to win proactively in EVs and lead the EV disruption of the Indian PV market. We would want to be the leader in the future car, that is SUVs. A 15% market share is not out of the realm of imagination. Significantly enhance our customer experience, which are on a good wicket, and high single-digit EBITDA in the next 3 years, and a free cash flow break even by FY23 and positive FCF thereafter. So we have set ourselves very high aspirations, and we are very confident of achieving the same. Next slide, please. These are the financials of the domestic business, where we ended the year with 4.3% EBITDA business, despite just a 2% growth in wholesales and a 7% growth in revenue. EBITDA up 380 bips, which again, sequentially during the year, you would see the progression and improvement in profitability, and a positive free cash flow of 2,700 crores. The cash targets, savings targets that we set took of 6,000 crores, we've exceeded it comfortably and delivered 9,300 crores there. Next slide, please. So how do we see things ahead? The demand situation continues to improve as the vaccination rates pick up, and their strong recovery in FY21 was obviously impacted in the first quarter because of the pandemic in India and semiconductor shortages. And the supply situation currently remains challenging with semiconductor issues, commodity inflation, and stoppages from lockdowns. And our performance is expected to progressively improve from the second half of the year onwards. So that's what I had to say. Thank you very much, and back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Balaji. Now I would like to invite questions and comments from our esteemed shareholders. I have a couple of requests. I would request each speaker to be brief and also not repeat a comment or a question that has already been made by another speaker. Let me start with Dr. Arun Kumar Bopana.
One second, sir. I'm setting up this. 1 second. Sir, even I have a request with you, Sir Chairman. When will you open Bombay House, then invite me for coffee. It's a promise you must make. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks to Mr. Setna, Vispri, and the CS team. Setna's retirement came as a shock to me. My 2 decades of association with him is full of fond memories. I will miss him, but I wish him all the best future. And it also reminds me that I crossed 70 last month, sir. I should retire at it. Tata's work for country and society as a privilege and a tradition and a legacy. Sir, in 1984, mob riots, many trucks were burnt, truckers lost their livelihood. Tata Motors gave trucks for free. Tata Motors did not ask any questions. Tata Motors never published this. Tata Motors did not inform the press. But Tata Motors earned lifelong loyalty. I am very proud of Tata Motors. And compliments for increase in market share from 4.3 to 10%, third slot in 9 years. And about the 1,000 workshops resulting in 600 ideas for cost saving by 1,200 employees, respecting our own staff. And my question, sir, what is the latest news on scrapping policy? Is growth coming from this scrappage? So earlier we were over-regulated underground. I think we need slightly regulated and well-governed in future. EVs are affordable and making sense with less moving parts, more cabin and boot space, low operational cost, better driving range, quick recharging. What is TML's focus, goal, and what is the pie we are going to enjoy in future? What are opportunities for EV auto component sector in India? EV tech solution space related to last mile mobility. What is TML's view? Advanced energy storage batteries, electrolyzer and fuel cells. TML's action. So the USD 200 billion industry with USD 500 billion exports is not out of reach for India to end jobless growth with unemployment. I hope TML will help in this. Lastly, sir, GARE initiative. Generate, evaluate, approve and realize to cut costs annually by 7.5% reduction. Looks like a miracle. Renegotiation of raw materials cost, better bargains, reducing weight, saving material cost, optimizing energy, logistics, productivity and efficiency. In conclusion, I'm glad Tata Motors remained steadfast with eyes on their goal post, going to any length in their strength, nourish new products to flourish. I wish Tata Motors all the best to accelerate and recover the Indian economy faster than ever before. Thank you very much. Looking for a cup of coffee with you, sir, at Bombay House. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Kaushik Shahukar.
Yeah. At the outset, let me introduce myself as Kaushik Shahukar from Mumbai. Professionally, I am a chartered accountant. Medically, I suffer from dystonia. In simple terms, 55% of my body is paralyzed, and this impacted my right hand, my right leg, and the speech. So I strongly believe that I am a self-reliant and self-dependent person. I admire the virtues of Tata Motors that share the same principle of making people self-reliant through your ongoing and continuous philanthropic work. You have made and are making a positive change in the society. I admire the initiative taken by company in 2021, that is Ways of Love, a holistic program that support new parents in the exciting journey. By promoting a culture of love, I wish company had showered some blessings over me. It could have changed my life in a more positive manner. I also admire the philosophy of promoting inclusive and sustainable development of the society. Sir, I also appreciate your dream of carbon dioxide free India by 2030. So I myself support this initiative of carbon dioxide free India. Chairman sir, if you will help me to purchase a four-wheeler electric vehicle for a cost which is customized for me to drive, it will be great. This will also help me to contribute to environment in a positive manner. I would like to thank the board of directors for giving me opportunity to speak and also patiently hearing me. Before I end my speech, I would like to give special thanks to secretary team, including Mr. H.K. Setana and Mr. Visi Patel. It is only their efforts which has made the event possible for me. At the end, fully support all the resolutions, and my best wishes are always with the Tata Motors. I also take privilege to be and always be proud shareholder of our company. I hope I was clear and audible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shahukar. Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf.
हाँ जी नमस्कार माननीय अध्यक्ष जी उपस्थित सदस्यगण और मेरे शेयर भाइयों बहनों जो आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस में प्रेजेंट है मैं संतोष कुमार श्राप करता बोलता हूँ सभी को नमस्कार आशा करता हूँ आप और आपकी फैमिली इस कोविड टाइम में सुरक्षित और स्वस्थ होंगे सर एक सर मैं कंपनी को धन्यवाद देता हूँ अच्छा परफॉर्म करने के लिए और अवार्ड्स पाने के लिए अवार्ड्स और जो है उसके लिए भी धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर मैं ज्यादा कुछ नहीं क्योंकि काफी प्रश्न लोगों ने करने वाले हैं तो मैं ये जानना चाहूँ सर अभी जो Q3 का रिजल्ट आया है उसके अंदर में करीब अपने को 4,000 करोड़ का लॉस हुआ सर तो वो कम हो इसके लिए आप क्या स्टेप उठा रहे हैं सर क्योंकि टोटल देख रहे 8,000 करोड़ का लॉस है जेएलआर के कारण में तो इसके कारण क्या स्टेप होता है बताने का कष्ट करिएगा सर और सर ये कैपेक्स प्लान क्या इसके बारे में बताइए एक से इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का फ्यूचर क्या है और आप अभी तो स्मॉल कार के अंदर में लोग बना रहे हैं ये अपने जो गुड्स जो ये गाड़ियां होती हैं उसके लिए भी क्या इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल बनाने का विचार आता है ट्रक आदि जो होते हैं तो बताने का चाहिए एक सर रेन जो अपने इन्वायरमेंट के लिए रेन वाटर हार्वेस्ट का क्या प्रोग्राम आपके पास में है जिससे अपने इसको रिसाइकिल के लिए रीयूज कर सकें सर एक सर एक अपने जो गाड़ियों में प्लास्टिक यूज करते हैं इसको कम से कम जो यूज किया जाए सीटों को कवर ऊपर लगाते हैं इनका कम से कम यूज करके उसके जो अल्टरनेट इशू यूज किया जाए इसके बारे में क्या प्लान है सर और ज्यादा मैं समय नहीं लूंगा तो आपसे बहुत अच्छा लगता है आपको देख के तो भगवान पाता को आपकी लंबी उम्र हो आप अपने परिवार और अपने जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर जितने भी हैं वह उनकी कामना करता हूँ सर लास्ट में वैक्सीन कितने % एम्प्लॉय को लगी है ये भी बता दीजिएगा धन्यवाद सर समय देने के जय हिंद जय भारत जय श्री राम
Thank you. Ms. Patel.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Very good afternoon to you, sir, and good afternoon to all the board members, Mr. Chandrasekharan, Mr. Kuntur Bakshek, our CEO and MD, Mr. O.P. Bhatt, the ladies on the board and the other directors, Mr. Balaji, our CFO, and Mr. Hosang Setna and Ms. P. Patel. Mr. Balaji and Mr. Hosang Setna and Ms. P. Patel, I thank you very much for the annual report. It is very exhaustive and all the details are given over here. It was a real shock when I came to know that Mr. Hosang Setna is retiring. He still has two or 3 years, I think so. Maybe his health is not. I do not know why he is retiring. Maybe because of his health or what. I'm not sure. But I wish him all the very best for his future. And sir, I wish that the board appreciates his service. Almost, I think, 25 years, 26, 27 years maybe. He should be, if his health is the problem, at least after 6 months, 1 year, he should be brought back on the board as a director of Tata Motors. I humbly request the management to think it over of this. I'm sure it will be Vespi who will take over Mr. Hosang Setna's place. Let's see what the management decides. I congratulate the company for the various awards that the company has won. The various awards with customer satisfaction and dealers' profitability. It has certainly helped this year's financials. After almost 5-6 years, we have seen a little improvement in the financials this year. Though there is hardly increase in the revenue, the sales growth was increase of 4.4 in that of last year. Market share has also improved out to 14.1%. Commercial vehicle has seen the highest export for the period of March 21. So lockdown during the COVID pandemic largely has impacted our sales volume. Removal or ease on the lockdown will again bring luck and fortune to our sales and volume growth. Steel price going up and dollar and pound fluctuating, exorbitant expenses, all these are only generating losses, high financial costs. These are only generating losses to our company. We have a huge loss of 13,395 and depreciation of 28,773. Ever mounting financial cost of 8,097. It is high time that we pay more attention on these losses also. I would like to know how strong is your order book in comparison to that of the last year. What are your plans for the next 5 years? Sir, I wish the company, I support all your resolutions. And I wish the company all the very best. I just have a request. I thank you, sir, Chairman, sir, for taking Mr. Keki Mystery on one of the board meetings, one of the directors on the board of our company. So we have our Mr. Subedar who has performed many years of service, a very humble, gentle and polite man, but very, very intelligent, very capable. I think we should have him on the board as a director. We should recognize his service and have him on the board of Tata Motors or Tata Power. I request management to consider even Mr. Hosang Setna for this. We have another Parsi gentleman in the name of Kayomas Mirza. Kayomas Marfatia. He's Abbott person, a finance man of the Abbott, a very intelligent person. We can have him on our board also, sir. Tata Sons, some few years back, when I was young, it was full of Parsis. I do not know. I think there are very few Parsis left on Tata board, the Tata Sons board. I think we should do something for it. Anyway, I wish the company all the very best. And I also wish that our Noel Tata is incorporated on the board. It's my humble request, please. He is also a very capable person. He has a strong brand of Titan and Trent behind him. It has come up considerably with his hard work. I wish you, Chairman Sir, considers this over a few people. Thank you very much. We have full faith in you, Mr. Chandrasekhar Sir, and I'm sure I wish you also good health and a long life. All the very best to all the people at Tata Motors that even in COVID time, they have worked hard to give us good results. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Aarti Tekriwal.
Good evening, Chairman Sir and the Board of Directors. This is Aarti Tekriwal from Indonesia. Besides being a proud shareholder, I represent Millennium Mams Indonesia. Sir, my question is that based on the current shortage of semiconductors, is there any change in the guidance for the financial year 22 and 23, the revenue, EBIT, and the free cash flow? And how do you plan to mitigate this risk? And also, does it affect the rollout plans for EV in the near future? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Adil Irani.
So Mr. Irani has not yet joined the meeting. May I request you to move on to the next speaker, please?
Mr. Ashok Subramaniam.
Good afternoon. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see me also, I believe.
I can see you.
Yeah, good afternoon and namaskaram, Chandrasekhar sir. So nice to see you again on another AGM. So I'm speaking to you as a shareholder as well as your loyal customer. And my association with Tata Motors as a customer started in April 2009 by owning Indiga Vista. And I had been a proud owner of it till 2018. And then additional I added with Nano in 2012. Now I'm a proud owner of Nexon XXZ Plus. So my congratulations to you for showing a stellar performance and all your efforts in towards zero debt, and happy to note your roadmap for zero debt by 2024 and also for carbon neutralization target. Now there is yesterday, last night I had just had a talk with my younger daughter, and that tomorrow is my AGM. I'll be seeing you. You have any points to share with you? She gave me two valuable points. I don't. So I thought I'll put it to you. She is persuading her mass comm in Mumbai with journalism. And she said the Tata commercials Motors commercials are more sensible and meaningful. So my high compliments to the entire team for bringing in such wonderful commercials. Okay. And especially the reason, whatever the black one and all those things. Then she said one more thing. Loyalty has to be honored with the royalty. Dog comes with the royalty. So we said when we were to Vista, she was given a box of chocolates. Then when we went to Nano, we were given a trip to Black Thunder by all the Nano owners of Coimbatore. Now she says when I migrated to a bigger SUV, so then she says that loyalty would have been better honored. So this is a thought from a child's mind. So I thought I'll just share it to you. Then comes as has been telling it that always been telling you shareholders or your brand ambassadors. So all the product launches I think are already started. You can please share it. And I have a track record. Whenever I take your product, some innovation happens in the same model. And I used to wonder why I've taken it now. I would have waited for a few more months. It started with Vista. When I took it, then there was a gearbox change happened. So I was very desperate to get it done. Being a mechanical engineer, I know the importance of it, but I could not get it. So similarly, I understand that now in Nexen also there are a lot of changes happening. One small suggestion in Nexen is that I think maybe you can think of giving some these offline maps that will be helpful rather than connecting through internet and taking into through some things and all those things. So that provision will be better. And this is one small thing. And I have some couple of experience to share. And I find there is a drastic quality difference in service between two geographies of this country, that is especially in South and as well as in Mumbai, with my experience. So I was a customer of Tafe in Coimbatore for almost 19 years. Now in the last 2 years, I have tried 3 different dealers in Mumbai, starting with Vasan Motors, then with Keshav Motors, and now with my DSM. And the Vasan Motors, my experience was somewhat reasonable, but except that their launch doesn't give a good appearance. And it is very uncomfortable and very unsafe for any person to be entering into the launch, customer launch, and being seated there. So for a company of this repute, I think this is the connectivity point between the company and the customer. So I think probably we need to revisit on that. Now I had a bitter experience as far as Keshav Motors is concerned. I had service to my Nexon a week. About after that, a week after that, I had some glow sign issue, and I got stranded on the road for 2 hours. So due to breakdown, then on a Friday night, evening, then I have to run around here and there. Then I tried your customer number and customer care in Pune, and I was getting drained in my mobile. Then they kept on asking different people called me back from customer service, and for everybody I need to give my all my horoscope. So it put me into a lot of hardships. Once the vehicle number is there, I think the customer care should be able to dig out all the information and extend this thing. This will improve our customer faith in you. And of course, it didn't dent my faith in Tata Motors, but may not be the case with every owner. Okay, so then that is one thing, and also that the TMSE mobile application also needs some kind of fine tuning. It doesn't capture many information, and I hope you can do that. And I forgot to mention that when I got stranded on the road, then all your regional sales service managers, I could somehow reach them, and they gave me a good help, and they sent me somebody, and I handed over the vehicle, and I could leave. So that was so I appreciate their action on that. And now I am with my DSN, and when you use this TMSC application, when you go to this your dealer network, it doesn't show my DSN. So it gives me a doubt whether they are the dealers or not. Okay, so that needs to be happening about it. Now coming to the performance as this thing, and I one more small thought is that this the DVR is in a very underperforming in compared to even the other main full right voting shares, and it is more painful now under the circumstances of no dividend situation for the last 2 years. So I think as a management we should do something so that all the DVR shareholders are also somewhat taken care of, and they are badly hit. So with this, I request you. I wish you all the best, and I wish everybody a healthy life. The shareholders, the employees, the directors, independent directors, you yourself, and all those things, all the members. And thanks once again for the opportunity to participate in this AGM. Loga Samasta Subhino Bhavantu. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tamal Majumdar?
Yes, sir. Is it okay, sir?
Yeah, yes, please.
Good afternoon, Chandra Sahab, Bhatt Sahab, Mr. Balaji, Mr. Shailesh Chandra, Girish Wagh, and other directors of the company. Myself, Tamal Kumar Mazumdar, an equity shareholder from Kolkata. Sir, we all welcome Girish Wagh as our new executive director, whose name repeatedly mentioned in the book titled Small Wonder, The Making of the Nano, as one of the architects of Nano.
and wish him good luck in the coming years. We also wish Gunter good health and spirit after retirement. Sir, our beloved Company Secretary Hosang Setna will be retiring from 1st September 2021 after completing a long innings with the Tatas. He and his dedicated team consists of Bispi, Patel and others must be complimented for constantly keeping in touch with shareholders. Bispi kept in touch on nearly daily basis during the last 1 week, requesting us to use our voting rights and also inquired whether I received the link for the meeting. Hosang and Bispi are fantastic person and always available over phone or mail. Sir, Hosang, though a bit introvert, is one of the best company secretaries of our time. True to his spirit of the group, Hosang advocated for listening to shareholders for value addition from his earlier professional life. He introduced several best practices such as whistleblower policy, auditor's independence policy, a full independent audit committee, besides internal controls over financial reporting. All this much before it was mandated in India. And his experience with Tata Motors helped hone his secretarial skills with never before, when the company spread its presence across Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, and was listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Hosang was part of our core team that handled the listing of Tata Motors on the New York Stock Exchange and its registration with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. His proposed retirement is really a loss for the company. On personal front, I honestly hope that the friendship will continue after retirement also. His successor, Malay Kumar Gupta, is an MNC veteran and always remains low profile. Despite his vast knowledge, I hope he will follow the legacy of the group and also of Hosang and supplement it with new ideas. I also wish him good luck in the coming years. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for sharing your thoughts with us. And Mr. Balaji's presentation is always very informative. Sir, I have some queries relating to audited accounts, and as usual, I seek your indulgence because this is the last meeting of the system. Sir, I wholeheartedly supported the scheme of arrangement of demerging passenger vehicle business as a separate company without legacy issues and adjustment of accumulated losses, the company against free reserves. I strongly believe that it will help us in the long run. As per the report, final hearing of the NCLT concluded on 1st July 2021. Would you please share with us the present status in this regard? Because A completed on 1st July. Sir, the company received 2,602.51 crores against conversion of warrants into equity during Q4 of financial year 21. As per Q1 of financial 22, deviation statement, the company able to make an expenditure of 1,550 crores as on 30th June 2021. What is the present status of remaining 1,052.51 crores remaining unutilized as on 30th June 2021? Would you please share some details in respect of expenditure against the amount received in Q1 of financial year 22? Sir, the company announced on 5th May 2021 through the stock exchanges that the Competition Commission of India has passed an order directing Director General of Competition Commission of India to investigate against Tata Motors Limited commercial vehicle business in India. What is the present status in this regard? Whether the company took appropriate action for staying of the direction by CCI till date? Please share your thoughts in this regard, sir. Sir, the company announced in February 2021 the appointment of Mark Listosel as the CEO of Tata Motors in place of Gunter with effect from 1st July 2021. Subsequently, the offer was withdrawn. Would you please share the reason for such withdrawal of appointment? Whether the company paid any amount to him for the said withdrawal? Details are to be given, sir. Sir, despite the loss, the company declared excellent result during Q1 of financial year 22, with retail sales of JLR and TML increased substantially. during the said quarter in comparison to Q1 of financial year 21. China operation also started doing well. Mr. Balaji actually also in his presentation also mentioned all these things. Do you expect that the momentum will continue during the remaining part of the year? What expectation you have for China operation during the remaining part of the year? And what about the semiconductor issue? Whether it will remain as a constant problem for our company, mainly JLR. Sir, despite loss booked in Q1 of financial year 22, JLR had to provide a tax charge of 1,823.33 crores on account of inability to recognize UK deferred tax assets due to current UK loss profile and other matter. Would you please share your thoughts in this regard? That despite loss, the company booked a provision for tax of 1,823 crores. Sir, the company on consolidated basis, the company booked a massive 14,994 crores as exceptional changes on account of JLR's reimagining strategy. For 9,606 crores for models cancelled, remaining 5,388 crores for setting legal obligation, etc. Like last year, I wholeheartedly support the provision as the company will be in a position to write back a portion of it if a positive thing happens, like this year's write back of portion of provision relating to passenger vehicles cash generating unit made during financial year 20. Please share your thoughts in this regard also. And sir, how the Nitra plant and Slovakia performed during financial year 21 and Q1 of financial year 22. And sir, Halud manufacturing plant remained closed from 26 April 2021 as confirmed to stock exchanges on 21st April 2021. Whether it has an impact on the sale of impact on the profitability of Q1 of JLR, and what is the current position of the unit, whether it is running. And sir, what is the present status of acquiring remaining 49% share of Tata Marco Polo Motors Limited from Marco Polo SA in terms of agreement made during financial year 21? Whether any amount paid to them as an advance till date. And sir, it is noted that our company had electric vehicles market share of 75%, mainly due to successful introduction of Nexon EV. What is your expectation from the EV during financial year 22? Considering the fact during Q1 of financial year 22, our trend mix was as follows. Electric vehicles was 3%, diesel vehicles was 22%, and petrol vehicles was 75%. Sir, Mr. Thierry Bollor, CEO of JLR in his message, page 19, mentioned that Jaguar completely reimagined as a pure electric brand from 2025. In order to fulfill the said aspiration, what will be our proposed investment as well as impairment during the next 3 to 5 years? Sir, other income schedule in page 219 showed rupees 548.27 crores as government incentive. Would you please share some details in this respect? And lastly, sir, last point. Sir, lastly, from page 71, I noticed an unique case during financial year 21. The company received a complaint on sexual harassment, which was subsequently withdrawn at the request from the complainant. I never came across such thing earlier. Whether the company penalized the complainant for his or her erratic behavior in this regard. Thank you all for patience. And sorry for taking such time, sir.
Thank you, Tamalda. Ms. Sunita Bulchandani.
Good afternoon, sir, and board of directors. Sir, I am Sunita Bulchandani from Millennium Mams Bangalore chapter and a proud shareholder of Tata Motors Limited. Sir, you have referred to subsidiary claims in your report. Are there any other subsidiaries besides the passenger vehicle business getting subsidized? Sir, you have mentioned double-digit EBITDA margins for the commercial vehicle business. When do you see this happening? And lastly, what are the alternate fuel systems you are looking at for commercial vehicles? Thank you, sir.
Aditi Tuparia.
Good evening, Chairman, sir, and members of the board. I'm Aditi Taparia, a proud shareholder of the company and also a member of Millennium Mams Delhi. Sir, are there any plans of monetizing the non-core assets in the near future to pay off the debt? Also, many companies in the luxury car segment have announced plans of going electric within a decade. So do you see any major competition coming from them? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Neha Agarwal.
Evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Respected Chairman, sir, members of the board, and all the members present here. I am Neha Premrajka. I am from Mumbai. I am part of this esteemed organization called Millennium Mams, and I'm also the proud shareholder of your company. So my question is, can you please guide for India's PV and CV segment growth outlook? How do you see it given this COVID second wave impact on a semi-urban and rural areas? Also, what is the total market share target that you are looking to achieve for the CV segment in the FY23? Can you also give the breakup of net auto debt in the PV and the CV business? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Gautam Tiwari.
Sir, can you listen me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. And my video I'll put on. Sir, probably you can see me now. Yes, sir. Sir, very good afternoon to our very popular and respectable chairman, Sir Chandrasekharanji, and to all my board of directors, especially Mr. O.P. Bhatt is there. I'm very happy, sir, because we have been meeting him at SBI and so many other places, so many other companies, and his expertise is certainly useful for our company every time. To all my directors and my fellow shareholders and the team, our Tata Motors and my fellow shareholders. My name is Gautam Tiwari, as pronounced, and I'm attending this meeting from Mumbai, sir. Now, I would like to, sir, request you, sir, please open Bombay House for us, one thing. And secondly, sir, our Hussain Setna's retirement has come out with us as a surprise, and really we can relish all the memories for all these 22 years he has been along with us. Each and every time he was very cordial, very informative, very much helping hand, and always listened for the value addition to our suggestions, and always gave us the time, always attended to us. He and his colleagues also, and he made all others to pay attention to whatever queries or whatever help we wanted from our company each and every time, for which we are very much thankful to the company and for selecting such a good personnel for our company from time to time. So we wish him a very happy, healthy, wealthy, and safe post-retired life. Sir, CM sir, I would really like to thank our Balaji for his informative presentation, which we have got here now. And I would also like to thank our MD, CEO, CFO, CS full secretarial and finance team, along with entire board of management, for delivering a very good, outstanding results despite challenging situation across the world. for which we are thankful, and we are very sure that this will continue in future also. Sir, CM sir, I'm really impressed with our annual report, and I can imagine the hard work that must have gone into by IR and Secretarial Department and the Finance Department for preparation of such an elaborate report. And it is really well designed, transparent, informative, and colorful, with all facts and figures in place, which I received very in time. And we have got, sir, we have got very good secretary and this thing, associate of it, Mr. Patel, who have been giving a very good service to us all the time, for which we are thankful to the company, thankful to them also, and we thank the company really for choosing such diamond-like personalities in our company's bandwagon. Sir, as such, our company has really worked hard in selecting, rather in identifying the area and projects for CSR activities which are really beneficial to the public at large, for which Abhinandan to our company, sir. I support all the resolutions, and I have favored in favor of all the, I already voted in favor of all the resolutions. And sir, I support all the appointments and reappointments also of directors on board. Sir, I've got few small queries which I would like you to answer, if at all you can now. CM sir, Chairman sir, you have achieved 10% market share, as I see from the annual report. Now, what is your market share in passenger electric vehicles in India? So secondly, sir, do we have hydrogen buses or hydrogen fuel buses? And Chairman sir, do you still see a future in passenger and commercial vehicles here? Chairman sir, when do you expect to come on dividend list? This is very important because 2 years we have been on non-dividend list. Chairman sir, what percentage of Jaguar Land Rover deal is electrified? Chairman sir, what is our market share of commercial vehicles and what are the steps taken for its improvement here? Sir, what are the initiatives we have taken to make Tata Motors grow more environmental friendly and more economical? Sir, you have announced that our company will become debt free in these 3 years. Now, you have already announced that our company has repaid the loan of 7,500 so far. Now, what is our strategy to pay the remaining of the loan in the time which we have earmarked for its repayment and making the company debt free? Sir, I have got a very good suggestion. I think the company should consider this suggestion that why not come out for company's growth plan, why not come out with some rights issue at optimum and economical price, so that two things will happen. Our company will get the revenue for repayment of its debt, and secondly, shareholders also will feel compensated for non-payment of dividend for these years. Now the company is doing very well.
I think, Mr. Tiwari, I think I noted on your questions. If you have more questions, we can talk offline.
Yes, sir. I wish all the, this is exactly what I wanted to say, sir, because, and I wish all the best and very, very long and happy life for our employees, staff, and all those who are connected with us, and with a shining and bright future in the days to come. I wish him once again all the, I wish you all once again all the best, and thank you very much for patient listening. Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Mr. Tiwari. Mr. Hiranand Kotwani.
Namaste to all. Can I audible?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I am audible? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Chairman, I fail to understand the company showing loss consolidated is of 13,395 crores. 2,50,000 crore of the revenue, huge revenue globally, consolidated basis, and showing loss of 13,395. I fail to understand. Are it showing the loss or it is making the loss? Please explain the reason why we made the loss of 13,395. Our annual report say that we had no liquidity problems. at our company, even though we are going for NCD of 1,000 crores. What is the reason? Company has 7 plants in India, manufacturing. How many globally we have manufacturing facilities? Will you elaborate? Huge subsidiary. What is our investment in the global subsidiaries and yield we are deriving from them? Huge investment. Sir, our Tata Sons has been issued some shares. How much amount has come to us from Tata Sons? What amount is pending? Preferential allotment we issued to Tata Sons. What is the status of that? Please elaborate. Okay. You said that in your chairman's speech that by 2024 we will be debt free. Thank good. When we expect dividend? At that time we expect at least $1 dividend or 500% dividend because we have suffered sacrifice. You people are not sacrificed with a payment and other perks, but we have sacrificed. So look into that in the future. You give it the future statement. But we expect a good dividend after the at least 2024. We wait for them up to them. We are from 1985 with the company. For 2-3 years no dividend. We generally cry, certainly cry, but we are expecting more dividend when the company is in a good position. What is the status of SUV Safari 9,000 booking till March? How much after the March SUV new Safaris? What is positions of Harrier after 31st March? Thank you and good luck, gentlemen.
Ms. Ratna Prasad, Ms. Carmel Pinto.
Good evening, respected Chairman, respected members of the board, Mr. Chandra, Mr. Balaji, and Mr. Thierry. I'm Mrs. Beena Pinto, a proud shareholder as well as a proud member of the Millennium Mams organization. So firstly, congratulations on celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Range Rover. My question is, the strength of the JLR brand pushes demand, which is reflected by the highest order book of 110,000 units, which has JLR on the path to turning around. But given the different variables like the semiconductor issue, which will slow down revenues for a while, are you still on course to achieve EBIT margins by 2026? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Praful Chawda.
अरे सर मैं प्रफुल्ल चावला बोल रहा हूँ सर.
Yes.
आवाज आ रही है जा रही मेरी सर.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
हाँ सर जी, बहुत थैंक यू सर, धन्यवाद कि मेरी बारी आ रही है आपके पास बोलने के लिए. बहुत सारे शेयर होल्डर ने बोले, बाद में मेरी बारी आई. मैं खासतौर पे सीधा डायरेक्ट मेरा एक सजेशन है वो देना चाहता हूँ कि अपने जो भी कार मैन्युफैक्चरर्स होता है सर, इसमें ज्यादातर कार का जब भी एक्सीडेंट होता है तो कार चलाने वाले की गलती मानी जाती है, परंतु ऐसा नहीं होता है. तो मेरा एक सजेशन है कि अभी जो मैन्युफैक्चर कार हो इसमें कम से कम आगे पीछे कैमरे लगे, अंदर भी कैमरे लगे, ताकि जो भी कार चलाने वाला है उसकी गलती है तो मालूम पड़े, कार के अंदर कौन बैठे वो भी पता चले, और कार किधर किधर जा रही है वो घर बैठ के सेठ लोग भी देख सके. अपना बेटा कार लेके कौन सी एरिया में गया है, कौन सी जगह पे गया, वो भी पता चल सके. और कैमरा लगने से बहुत से ऐसे बेनिफिट्स दूसरे भी है. तो मैं चेयरमैन सर को और मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि नेक्स्ट फ्यूचर में जो कार निकाले इसमें कैमरे का सहूलत रखे. और सर कब अपनी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कार आ रही है, और जैसे टाटा नैनो गरीबों के लिए मीडियम क्लास के लिए कार आई थी, तो इसमें इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कार भी ऐसी सस्ती लाई है ताकि हम लोगों को जो छोटे लोग आए वो यूज कर सके. ऐसा मेरा सजेशन है. सर खासतौर पे CSR में बहुत अच्छा काम हो रहा है और बहुत बढ़िया काम हो रहा है, परंतु मेरा मानना है कि अपने कंपनी में रिटायर्ड आर्मी मैन को या शहीद हुए जवानों को, फैमिली के लोगों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयज के तरीके से रखना चाहिए और सर्विस देना चाहिए ताकि वो लोगों को इस तरह बेनिफिट मिले। सर अभी अभी कंपनी अपने इंडिया में मीराबाई सिल्वर मेडल लेके आई, पर टाटा ग्रुप ने ऐसा तो बहुत डोनेशन देते हैं और बहुत काम करते हैं, पर मीराबाई के बारे में भी कुछ नहीं बोले। तो इसको भी आप विश करके कुछ अच्छा सा सरप्राइज गिफ्ट देना चाहिए ताकि आने वाले फ्यूचर में और भी ओलंपिक में खेलने वाले खिलाड़ी ऐसा समझे कि अपने को बहुत सी कंपनी भी हेल्प करेंगी और अपना लाइफ अच्छा सेटल हो जाएगा, ऐसा मेरा मानने का। धन्यवाद सर।
Thank you, Mr. Chowda. Mr. Ashit Kumar Patak.
Associated with Teamtech Limited and stay. Thank you, sir.
Pardon? Mr. Patak?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello, I am audible, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Hello. Very good afternoon, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, MD, CEO, Company Secretary, staffs, fellow members joining at 76th AGM of Tata Motors Limited. My name is Ashit Kumar Patak from Kolkata, Damdam. My also very thanks to our respected Company Secretary for his enhanced contribution to our company and praying to God for his good health, rest in his life. And thanks to also Mr. Dhismi Patel for his enhanced contributions to member speakers also. Sir, I have successfully casted my vote for 14 resolutions, and thanks to NSDL also. Excellent delivery from respected Chairman and CFO. I have noted all the valuable points in my notebook. And thanks to my company management team for achieving Golden Peacock Awards, 2021 World Car Awards, Jaguar and Land Rover. The key performance of our company, respected Chairman also said, and also my noted point is nicely debt reduced from 48,280 crores to 40,776 crores, nicely came down. And standalone revenue also fine and loss nicely recovered from previous financial year. Very, very achievable performance from our company's management team. I, as a minority shareholder, expect from a dividend paying from our beloved company, I think so far. Sir, strategy and roadmap to next 3 quarters, financial year 22, where financial year 21, Tata Motor Group sales down by 12.9%, though Tata Motor vehicle sales growth 4.4%, though company's market share increased by 14.4%, then 12.7% mentioned in annual report. Also, strategy and roadmap for positive growth volumes, domestic PV and export of CV, and growth in retail sales of JLR. Mentioned down by 13.6% year-on-year mentioned. And our debt reduction policy. Also, very debt instrument arising and recover the debt mentioned in the manual report. This is my also a small question. And positive response Tata Motor got after scheme of arrangement between Tata Motors Limited and TML Business Analytics Service Limited. Through some highlights. Union government in budget session declared voluntary scrapping vehicle policy. My first speaker, respected Bopna sir, mentioned, and Tata Steel already set up scrap recycling policy unit. What positive response my company got for this vehicle manufacturing cost effectiveness with this policy? Any future plan to set up charging stations to every metro cities? Where here at Jamshedpur already Tata Motors set up charging station mentioned. And sir, Tata Motors first quarter result is very nice. April to June lost to 4.5 crores and becoming profitable years. Only previous speakers also mentioned cheap crisis. JLR temporarily suspend production of its plants, where UK bans fossil fuels up to 2030. And have I any plan to tie it up with car travel, who is ongoing to 2000 crore IPO? And also vehicle demand uprising in China, Europe, US, but raw material cost zooms and 275 semiconductor shortage, which also commodity inflation. And JLR also very nicely loss covered 233 crore against 3,494 crore previous year. Nothing to show more. Expecting everybody good health, and my company is uprising year to year with blessings of God, sir. Thanking you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rachana Prasad. Ms. Rachana Prasad? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, ma'am, I
Respected
skipped
Chairman,
your
sir,
number.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir. Respected Chairman, sir, and members of the board, I'm a proud shareholder of Tata Motors and a member of Millennium MAMS. Sir, Mr. Butchek said that there is no cause for panic due to shortage of semiconductors, and Tata Motors is looking for alternative parts. So could you please elaborate and share with us the alternative to semiconductors and how Tata Motors can leverage these alternatives to garner a larger of the premium car market share? And also, sir, how does Tata Motors plan to retire the debt and become a near zero debt company? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Preeti Agarwal.
A very good evening to Chairman, sir, members of the board. I am Preeti Agarwal, proud shareholder of Tata Motors and a member of Millennium MAMS, sir. So my question to you, sir, earlier you had mentioned that once the growth revives in India and JLR, you would very aggressively follow the CAPEX plans. What are your plans? What are your CAPEX numbers for, sir, financial year 22 and 23? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Maskar Hanes.
Celestine.
Ma'am? Ma'am, can you speak? Ma'am, you are on mute.
Never. You please unmute me. Hello?
Yes. Yeah, can you speak?
hear me?
Yes, we can.
I will speak. I'll speak. Very well. Respected Chairman, Mr. Chandrasekhar, MD, Mr. MD and CEO and other honorable directors. My name is Mrs. C. Mascarenas. I am attending from Mumbai. First of all, greetings to one and all. I would thank our company's secretary, Mr. Hossain Setna, and his team, especially Mr. Vispi Patel, for sending me e-annual report and also giving me this facility to express myself on this virtual platform. The annual report is very colorful, full of pictures, information, as well as explanations. Working is not that good due to COVID and the world economy going down. Our revenue is somewhat up, but PBT, PAT loss. So no dividend. But we are in a real difficult time. This will also pass. This will definitely pass. And maybe next year we will be in profit. Even I appreciate the gesture of our chairman, Mr. Chandrasekhar, has also not taken the commission. He has also sacrificed. So I feel that we also because the economy is bad, COVID is still going on. So we have to take this sort of hit. At least our market cap is good. Market feels that position will go and we will come to our glorious days as the COVID problem is solved by vaccination and medicines like we have in flu. This also is definitely going to come within a year. Now, I congratulate you and all your team for all the awards and accolades received by our company, which is written in the AGM report. Also, I appreciate the CSR work. Tatas are known for helping the community. There's no need to speak on it. Now, my queries, as many have already asked before me, I will restrict to only three. Number one, we already have an EV cars. What is the cost to the to the customer and to the shareholder? Number two, when will our Tata Motors come with a very affordable EV car which even common person will afford it? Third, future roadmap and when we will become debt free. Lastly, I support all the resolutions. I wish our company all the best. May we grow in strength to strength and may our Tata Motors become one of the leading company for vehicles, all types of vehicle. With this, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Thanks once again and good health for all and everybody. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Mascarenhas?
Yeah, don't disconnect, sir.
Hello. Hello.
I
Hello.
can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. Respected Chairman, sir, very distinguished members of the board and my fellow shareholders. Good evening to you all. My name is Elisha Mascarenhas. At the outset, I thank the management, our company secretary and the registrars for sending me the e-balance sheet which I received on time. It is voluminous, informative, transparent and above all adhering to all the parameters required for a good corporate governance. Though our results are not so good, but seeing the scenario, the pandemic which we are facing, which has destroyed our economy and the world economy, I feel strongly that because of these factors, we were unable to pay a handsome dividend. Here my question is, when we will come in the dividend list, how many more years of patience we shareholders, and especially senior shareholders like us, who depend entirely on dividend and bank income. So how many more years we have to wait for getting a good dividend and we become debt free? Sir, I would like to know, as I have already talked in my earlier AGMs, that we are facing tremendous problem about demanding physical shares. We have to go through a lot of problem notarizing, getting stamp paper and all that. So I would request you once again to look into the matter that especially senior citizens are not harassed. And many questions have been asked by my predecessor shareholders. I have very few to ask. So I would end here. I would like only one question to be asked, that now is the time for vaccination. Are all our staff been vaccinated? If not, so earlier the better. And whether the effect of COVID on our employees and the company at large, any casualties of our employees, and whether any donation is given to government funds and NGOs. With this, I end my speech, wishing you again personally, all the staff members, all the very best in the days and years to come. With this, sir, thank you very much for patient hearing. Good luck, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Priyadarshan Nayak.
I have three questions. I will ask them one by one. The first is your page 234, 43, note 43, your standalone segment reporting. I find the PV segment has done exceptionally well, 56% growth. Your CV segment, okay, it's bad. It corresponds to the reasons for loss you mentioned, 21.7 downtrend in the CV segment, right? But the JLR segment, now I have seen these figures in your consolidated financial statement. That is decreasing 7% every year. 7%, please refer to your 2019 annual report as well. If you look at the revenues, 7% loss this year, 7% loss the previous year. When we have this sort of phenomena, isn't JLR being parasitic on the PV and CV, the successful PV and last year's very successful CV segment? Why don't you consider demerger of the JLR, unlock value, streamline operations? You have done it in Tata Chemicals. It has been a success. Please consider this. JLR has very good valuations, so the shareholders will definitely not suffer. Second question. Newspaper reports suggest about your participation in the BEML disinvestment. Tata Motors is one of the foremost among the people who have been shortlisted. Sir, BEML has 3 segments. 2 of these will gel with you, construction and mining equipment and defense. Tata Motors has it too. But the rail and metro segment, which is almost 40% or 50% of BEMLs, what are you going to do with it? So what kind of strategy have you in mind when you plump in for the BEML disinvestment? It's prestigious. Next to Air India, I'm sure. BEML disinvestment is very, very prestigious. But what role do you envisage just plunging into it in this manner? Question number 3 and the last. I had brought this up last year as well. This is about your spare parts and service. I find that your service income has come down very marginally. Similarly, the spares income has just increased by 1%. All this when 2 lakh crore worth of cars and vehicles have gone into your system. So you should have had more parts, more service and more revenues from spares as well. This is one area of growth when we have such tremendous 13,395 crores loss, as one of the earlier shareholders said. So, but this is not my point. My point is that last year, it was exactly the same thing. When we look at the FY19 figures, no change at all. Absolutely the same. I feel, Chairman Chandrasekharan, sir, your people at TML make you the front and ask you to say something, but it doesn't happen. Last year, you gave some very nice answer to this issue. Nothing has happened this year. Thank you very much. All the best for next year.
Mr. Bharat Shah.
हेलो हेलो सर, मेरा आवाज है? हेलो, माननीय श्री चंद्रशेखर जी, आवाज आ रहा है ना सर?
यस, आवाज आ रहा है.
माननीय श्री चंद्रशेखरन जी, एमडी श्री और अन्य माननीय डायरेक्टर सर, मेरा नाम भरत शाह. सर, मेरी कोई क्वेरी नहीं है, सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन थे. 2 क्वेश्चन है मेरे, लेकिन टाइम बहुत हो गया है सर, तो मैं कंपनी सेक्रेटरी को ईमेल कर दूंगा सर, टाइम नहीं बिगाड़ूंगा सर. बाकी बहुत मुश्किल समय में भी आपने जो न्यूट्रली कंपनी चला रहे हो सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं सर. डिविडेंड नहीं है, लेकिन सर न्यूट्रली जो तटस्थ से कंपनी मुश्किल समय में भी चला रहे हो सर. आगे जाके डिविडेंड जरूर मिलेगा. हम शेयर होल्डर का आपको साथ है सर. हमेशा टाटा ग्रुप ने शेयर होल्डर को रिस्पेक्ट दिया है, शेयर होल्डर का हित को ख्याल रखा है, तो धन्यवाद देता हूं सर. सर, कंपनी सेक्रेटरी श्री सेठनाथ जी और उनके असिस्टेंट विष्णु जी और पूरी टीम को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं सर. शेयर होल्डर को हमेशा रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं, शेयर होल्डर की कोई क्वेरी है तो सोल्व करते हैं, तो सर मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं सर. और सर, बोपना जी ने, अरुण जी ने बोला, तो बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग है सर. हो सके तो उनका टर्म सर रिक्वेस्ट है सर. बाकी सब सर में मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर. धन्यवाद. जय हिंद, जय श्री कृष्ण. सर, स्मिता शाह बोल रही है.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Ms.
Hello.
Smita Shah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. माननीय चेयरमैन श्री चंद्रशेखरन जी, एमडी सीईओ श्री क्या है अपना एमडी श्री और अन्य माननीय डायरेक्टर सर, मेरा नाम स्मिता शाह। नमस्ते सर। सर, मेरे आगे कई सारे अपने स्पीकर्स बात कर चुके हैं, सो मैं ज्यादा बात नहीं करूंगी सर, लेकिन मैं आपको अभिनंदन जरूर देना चाहूंगी क्योंकि आज अपनी 76 माना अपने गया साल 75 ईयर्स अपने कंप्लीट हो गए और आज अपनी टाटा कंपनी भी थोड़ा से आगे आ रही है और अपना शेयर भी अच्छा हो रहा है सर, और आपने काफी से अवार्ड्स भी प्राप्त किए, बहुत खुशी की बात है सर। सर, आपका जो ये जगुआर लैंड रोवर जिसका 2021 में वर्ल्ड कार अवार्ड मिला, जो वर्ल्ड कार डिजाइन ये साल का रहा है, तो सर इस जगुआर लैंड रोवर का मार्केट में भी अभी तक कितना सेल हुआ है और ज्यादा कौन सी सिटी में ज्यादा सेल हो चुका है, और सर ये इसका ये जगुआर लैंड रोवर से अपना कंपनी को कितना मुनाफा ये साल में रहा है, जरूर बताने की कृपा करें। और बाकी तो कंपनी का अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस आगे बढ़ने जा रहा है, अच्छी बात है। सो हमें भी पूरा भरोसा है कि सर आपकी लीडरशिप में सभी डायरेक्टर्स का सहयोग और सबसे बड़ी सराहना करूं तो कंपनी के छोटे बड़े एम्प्लॉइज वर्कर्स सभी की मेहनत हार्डवर्क जो आज आपके साथ है, सो कंपनी आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश कर रही है। सो आप सभी खुशियां से भरी और एक्सेलेंट आत्मविश्वास के साथ स्माइल फोटो जो बैलेंस शीट में है, तो बैलेंस शीट की शोभा भी बढ़ा रही है और आगे की फ्यूचर्स की बहुत अच्छी सी अचीव करने की तमन्ना भी आपसे बता रही है। लेकिन सर कंपनी का शेयर प्राइस अच्छा है, सब कुछ अच्छा है अभी, तो फिर भी थोड़ा आप डिविडेंड के लिए अगर सोचते थे तो अच्छा रहता था, लेकिन कोई बात नहीं सर, नेक्स्ट ईयर जरूर सोचिए और आप पर पूरा भरोसा है कि आपने हमेशा शेयर होल्डर का सोचा तो है ही। सो जरूर फ्यूचर्स में शेयर होल्डर के लिए कुछ ना कुछ डिविडेंड के लिए जरूर सोचे। बाकी तो आपको हमेशा शुभकामनाएं देते हैं और शुभकामनाएं देते हुए हम चाहते हैं कि टाटा मोटर्स कंपनी फ्यूचर्स में भी दिन प्रतिदिन अव्वल प्रगति के साथ उन्नति की ओर आगे बढ़े। और अभी आपने सर कोई नई टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ कोई नया व्हीकल लॉन्च करना आगे फ्यूचर में सोचा है क्या? सो आपके फ्यूचर्स के प्लान क्या है जरूर बताएं। बाकी तो सर सेठना जी का रिटायर होने जो जा रहे, सो उनका अपना थोड़ा एक्सटेंशन अगर बढ़ाया होता तो अच्छा रहता था, तो सोचिए जरूर। और सेठना जी की उनकी फ्यूचर्स की रिटायर लाइफ के लिए मैं शुभकामना करती हूँ। उन्होंने सालों से कंपनी में शेयर होल्डर के लिए गुड इन्वेस्टर सर्विस भी अच्छी दी है और देते आ रहे हैं। कभी भी कोई क्वेरी रहती थी तो हमें सॉल्व कर देते थे, तो मैं उनको फ्यूचर्स की मैं हार्दिक शुभकामना करती हूँ। और उनके साथ विस्पी जी जो है उनकी भी, वो बहुत स्वीट मैन है, स्वीटली बात करते हैं। सो सेठना जी की लीडरशिप में पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम हमेशा नम्र और हार्ड वर्कर है, सभी अपनी ड्यूटी सही रीति से हार्डवर्क के साथ करते आ रहे हैं। आज हम उनकी वजह से आपके साथ बात करने का जो मौका आपके साथ मिला है, तो उनकी मैं सराहना जरूर करूंगी। सो सेठना जी के साथ विस्पी और पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम को मैं धन्यवाद और अभिनंदन देती हूँ और सेठना जी को फ्यूचर्स की ढेरों शुभकामनाएं। और लास्ट में सर मैं कहूंगी कि सर ये पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन पूरी तरह सुधर जाए तो जरूर पहले की तरह ही अपनी एजीएम फिजिकल होए ऐसी हम आशा करते हैं और पहले कई तरह अपना सिलसिला चालू हो जाए, यही ईश्वर से प्रार्थना है। और आपको आने वाले सारे त्योहार की शुभकामना देते हुए आज के सभी रिजोल्यूशन में मैं फुल्ली सपोर्ट करते हुए आपको बेस्ट विशेष फ्यूचर्स की देते हुए धन्यवाद सर।
थैंक यू। मिस सुनीता रोक।
So, Ms. Rook has not yet joined the meeting. May I request you to move on to the next speaker?
Mr. Jaydeep Bakshi.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself Jaydeep Bakshi, connecting from Kolkata. Thanks to our company secretary for giving me an opportunity to express my view. And also, good afternoon to all the board members also. Sir, much has been said about our company, nothing to add more. So what is the present situation regarding the manufacturing units which we are having all over the world? And sir, regarding the electric vehicles, kindly produce one thing for the which is affordable for the common man. And thanks for the awards which we have received And so regarding the R&D sector, what is our expenditure plans in the future? And also regarding the carbon emission and neutralization and environmental thought process for this. So what is the impact of the raw materials with the price has gone up? How much is to affect our vehicles manufacturing? So do we have plans to invest in Bengal once again? And what is the future outlook of our company and moderation plans in the coming days? So nothing to add more. I have full faith in the company and the management, and under your leadership, I hope our company will rise to greater heights and reward the shareholders with dividend in the coming years. Thank you, and all stay safe. Namaskar.
Mr. Manoj Kumar Gupta.
Hello? Sir,
Yes,
can you
Mr.
hear
Gupta.
me?
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
थैंक यू सर सर कुछ लोगों ने क्रिटिसाइज किया बट ये जो समय है ये मैंने टाटा मोटर में पहले भी देखा जब मिस्टर टाटा चेयरमैन थे हमारा शेयर प्राइस 10 रुपए का शेयर 48 रुपए में बिका था और उस समय राइट आया था 100 रुपया में इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया था बट हम लोगों ने इन्वेस्ट किया था टू कीप ट्रस्ट ऑन टाटा देयर इज ए ब्रांड ऑफ टाटा विल रिवाइव दिस कंपनी this is a iconic company of Mr. Ratan Tata. So we have full faith on you, your leadership, that you will turn around this company very soon, like as Tata Steel. I will tell you one thing, कि वक्त बुरा है, ये ढल जाएगा. इस उजाला जरूर आएगा. Sir, I will not say what the price of, but if you can consider right issue for the small shareholders to reduce the debts and to reduce the cost and reduce the interest burden. And sir, I will not say about the CSR. I salute you, your team, for the CSR in the country to save the people's life during the epidemic COVID-19. And sir, think about to come in this region with the investment in Bengal or in Northeast, sir. Nowadays, I am reading in the newspaper that Tatas are coming in Bengal with a big investment. So I will welcome you, sir. Sir, you should consider these politicians may come or go, but nation will be there. Nation first. And sir, what is your plan for electric vehicles, sir? And sir, how you will face the new coming vehicles from the other companies? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Pranay Tayade.
Hello, Chairman sir. Hello, Chairman sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good afternoon to Mr. Chairman sir and other board members. I am Pranay Tayade, attending this meeting from my residence, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Chairman sir, this is my third time to talking to you, and whenever I speak, I feel very happy. My question is about e-vehicles. Sir, I think it's easier to manufacture e-vehicles for Tata Motors than any other companies because Tata Motors has J&L technology and Tata Power Company for charging stations and Tata Chemicals for batteries, and the other companies have to bring this technology from outside. So I wanted to your opinion on this. That's all. और मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आप हमेशा सुखी रहिए और सफल रहिए. और मेरी एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट है सर कि मुझे अगर आपका मेरे ईमेल आईडी सेक्रेटरी टीम के पास है, अगर आपका मुझे विजिटिंग कार्ड मिल सकता है प्लीज, मतलब आप सेंड कर सकते तो प्लीज. मेरी एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट है. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर दिस वंडरफुल अपॉर्चुनिटी. नमस्ते, स्टे सेफ. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर.
Thank you, Mr. Tayade. Mr. Vineet Duskar.
Respected Chairman, members of the board, Setna sir, fellow shareholders, good evening to all of you. I hope you all are safe, healthy, and taking care of yourselves and your loved ones. Setna sir, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak at the AGM. This is the first time I'm speaking. Chairman sir, I have few queries with respect to our PV segment. So the first one is, as we are shifting to electric vehicles, when are we going to see revival of Nano and Indica in electric vehicles? Secondly, as more and more competitors are launching with petrol variants. When are we going to see more petrol variants? For example, petrol variant in Harrier and Safari. And third, as we have seen, the new Defender has received the World Design Award for its design that is being as close to the original. Why are we not following the same principle in our PV segment? That is, our one design is getting applied to all other models. So let's and the last one is, what is the cost on customer to own an electronic vehicle in current scenario? Thank you. Take care, stay safe, and all the best for the future.
Mr. Bimal Kumar Agarwal.
So Mr. Agarwal has not yet joined the meeting. May I request you to move on to the next speaker, please?
Mr. Ajay Kejriwal.
A very good evening to our respected Mr. Chandrasekharan, all the senior and respected chairpersons here in the room, and all the shareholders. My name is Ajay Kejriwal, and I'm a car dealer trading in the name of Vaishnav Motors based in Kolkata, West Bengal. Firstly, I congratulate our company for bringing a revolution in its products by launching excellent quality cars, starting from the Tata Tiago to the Nexon, moving till the Harrier and Safari till date. I also congratulate the entire team for bringing a revolution in the electric vehicle industry in India by bringing the Nexon EV. My suggestion to the company is to please improve the customer experience at the dealership and the workshop to keep pace with its competitors. I, being a car dealer, often come across several complaints from my clients about the hospitality received at the ground level at dealerships and workshops of Tata Motors. I still remember the launch of Indica and Indigo during the year of 1999 and 2003 respectively, which was itself a master blaster in its segment during those days. Gradually, the quality of cars started deteriorating with time, and the market of these cars also started falling after the launch of its competitors. In view of the facts which I stated, I request the chair to please take strict measures so that history is not repeated and that our company is able to achieve the position of the country's largest car manufacturer in the passenger car segment during the coming years. Sir, I would love to see Tata Motors to gain the highest share in the passenger vehicle segment in India. And trust me, I would be the happiest person when I read this. Secondly, I request the team to please highlight about the forthcoming launches of passenger cars of Tata Motors and also our company's future plans about the expansion in the electric segment. Finally, I also beg a pardon in front of the chair if in case I have done any mistakes or I beg an apology with them. Thanking you, signing off, Ajay Kejriwal from Calcutta.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Zaveri.
Mr. Zaveri has not yet joined the meeting. May I request you to move on to the next speaker, please?
Mr. Bharatraj Kankanala.
Mr. Kankanala too has not yet joined the meeting. May I request you to move on to the next speaker?
Mr. Mahesh Bubna.
Mr. Bubna too has not yet joined the meeting.
Mrs. Purdehi.
Mrs. Purdehi has not yet joined the meeting, sir.
Mr. Hariram Chaudhary.
Mute me. Chairman.
Sir, we can't hear you.
My name is Hariram Chaudhary. I am speaking from, and sir, we appreciate that you have personally invited the speaker to speak instead of the moderator. So we do it very much. Your staff, including, had given the personal attention to the speaker. That also, and to the CS. donated, we are very much curious to know how many ambulances were donated by Tata for the COVID, whether PPE kits, whether ice, ventilators.
Sir, we can't hear you. Can you try it?
Now, can you hear me now? No, sir.
Sir, there is a lot of echo. Can you retry? Because we can't hear you. Maybe I take the next speaker and come back to you. You can disconnect and join again. We can't hear you. Okay. Ms. Vasudha Dakwe?
Hello.
Yes,
Can you hear
ma'am.
me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Very good evening, respected Chairman, sir, Board of Directors, and my fellow shareholders. Myself, Vasudha from Thane. I would like to congratulate our company secretary and team for sending me the soft copy of the report well in advance, which itself is clear and transparent. I would like to ask, what is our next 3 years capex plan? With this, I support all the resolution. Thank you very much.
Mr. Vinod Agarwal?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Respected Chairman Chandrasekharan ji, our MD who is retiring, Mr. Gundar Bushek ji, and Mr. Thierry Ballon, CEO of JLR, Mr. Hoshang Setna ji, Company Secretary. I congratulate Mr. Hoshang Setna ji for preparing such an exhaustive annual report of 400 plus pages. It's such a colorful, it's exhaustive with all the pictures and all the graphs and all. It's a very tedious job to make one. It is also a tedious job to read such a large annual report. It's not an easy job to read 400 pages on an electronic screen. It is. I'm pleased with the company that even in a COVID pandemic times, we have had sales of 8,37,783 vehicles, excluding JLR. And my basic query is, only apart, a lot of questions have been raised earlier and a lot of praises have been made. My basic query is that you have designed Nexon, which has received International Dismantling Award, with the scrappage policy coming. How are we going to organize the dismantling of the older cars? We are a car manufacturer. We can also have some facility for dismantling of the older scrapping vehicles which will be coming to the market, which will give us a lot of raw material for our steel factories. And this is my only basic question, and I wish the company all the best. You have been cash positive last year from the negative cash flows of earlier years, which is a very good sign. I'm signing off. Thank you, Vinod Agarwal from Mumbai. All the best.
Thank you. Mr. Hariram Chaudhary, can we try him again?
So Mr. Chaudhary has left the meeting.
He was going to join again because we couldn't hear. Try again. Mr. Adil Irani?
The co-host has unmuted me. Thank you very much. I hope you can see the national flag in the background, my dear chairman.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, basically that is my standard. You can say the thing, I'm a proud Indian. And that reminds me, I'm a proud shareholder of Tata Motors for the past 70 years. Maybe you are not born that time. And I'm not a minor, I'm a minority shareholder, but I'm not I don't have any percentage of shareholding, but then I do mind when I don't get dividend, basically. There are some, I'm going off the track. Anyway, there are only 3 points on which I was going to talk about this time. The one is I want to thank Mr. Oshan Setna, our company secretary, who I believe is no longer going to be taking in charge of the company. And he has given 50% of his whole life serving the company. And he has been loyal to the company for such a long time. He's amongst the best company secretaries of Tata's. And on that point, I would like to mention the best managing director of Tata. I would put like Tata Steel will come first, then say Tata Chemicals, and then Tata Power. These are all are homegrown managing directors. The point I'm trying to make is you should have a homegrown managing director for Tata Motors also, who will be loyal, who will know the lifestyle of the employees who are going to work under him, who's going to know the school, what is the education level of the people who have come up the rank, and the managing director should have come up the rank basically. So based on that, our Tata Motors would have been good. Maybe Jaguar Land Rover, you can keep somebody in charge over there. But as far as Bombay is concerned, India is concerned, he should be a homegrown person. That is what my thing. Next point is necessity is the mother of invention. In Canada, I believe there are people who use cars for 6 months, and for 6 months they may not use car because the weather changes, it becomes cold. So, today I told, I've got a school alumni like whole. So he's saying, Adil, we can easily sell. They, among themselves, 5,000 Tata Nano cars which have heaters in them, basically. So just think about think. You can have your own marketing, or people in Canada can be sort of sell nano cars. And then the marketing fellow, the marketing people who are trying to promote black color. And then I made a research on Google. Black color absorbs heat. That is what we learned in school when we were in the 5th and 6th standard. Black color absorbs heat. I thought maybe the temperature goes up by 2 or 3, but the temperature goes up by 11% in the car. So the air condition has to run for a longer time, and the engine also has to, powerful has to be there to run the engine to cool down the car. So black color for India is not good. Don't try and push that color, black color. They're advertising on TV. They are trying to sell a black color car. I don't know. So that is it. As far as Hosang Setna is concerned, you all should have something. And then another thing, there should be some, after Hosang Setna, the next person should be Vispy Patel. Basically, he's been there. He's given his life to the company. And then that is what it should be. So you can't come. Then, as I mentioned, the managing director, the best in Tata company will be Tata Steel first, then Tata Chemicals, and then Tata Power. They're all homegrown. They've given their loyal. They're youth. They've spent 70% of their life in this company. And tomorrow you can't say, okay, you bring somebody from outside, from London or Germany. That person sits in Germany and tries to order people in Bombay. No, it is not done. In fact, nobody, I don't think even the Japanese or the Chinese will allow us to have an Indian fellow over there.
Thank you, Adil.
Pardon, sir?
Thank you. I note your comments. Thank you.
No comment. No, I want you to answer why we cannot sell cars in Canada? Why we cannot have homegrown managing directors? And why are we trying to? What is the reason that we are trying to push black color? It is not meant for India. Black color is not meant for our climate. You have to use the air condition has to function faster because the engine has to function faster. And even it cools down. It takes longer to cool down in a black colored car. You might be in a hurry to catch a plane somewhere. I don't know. So I will not take your time. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day.
With that, we come to all the shareholder speakers, come to the end of it. So let me give the response to the many of the questions raised. Mr. Arun Kumar Bapanna, thank you for your comments. You asked about the scrappage policy. The proposed policy has a mandatory re-registration for the CVs in 15 years and PVs in 20 years. And the scrappage center to pay about 4 to 4.6% of the new vehicle for the new vehicles in ex-showroom price. State government offer road tax rebate of about 25%. So we are studying on how to respond to this in terms of operations and what do we do. You asked about EV and what is the goal for TML. TML has a very ambitious goal for EV. We have planned at least 25 percent. Currently, we are about 2%. And in medium to long term, we expect 25% of our sales to be EV. We'll be launching at least 10 models before 2025. So we have aggressive growth plans, and towards that, we will also do a capital raise for the EV segment alone at the appropriate time. Then you asked about last mile focus. Yes, definitely for the commercial vehicles, for last mile, we will be launching our EV platform pretty soon. And EV component business we are studying, and that will have opportunities. In fact, we are also looking at setting up a separate battery outside of Tata Motors. And we are investing in hydrogen, and in fact, we got the first order from Indian Oil for 15 vehicles, and we have a lot of work going on in the hydrogen and fuel cell area. Mr. Kaushik Shahukar, fully appreciate your comments on inclusive and sustainable development, and also regarding your request for a customized EV, we'll definitely get in touch with you separately. Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf, you asked about the CapEx plan. The CapEx plan is about 2.5 billion pounds for JLR every year, and for Tata Motors per year it is about 3,000 to 3,500 crores. Sustainability is a big area that we are addressing across the group, not only in terms of carbon emission. We have worked on the plan for the individual companies and what is the group-wide plan for sustainability. And every company has got a particular target for net zero. And also we are looking at water, and as part water and forestation, everything else, we are looking at rainwater harvesting is also an important aspect of that. Ms. Patel, thank you for your comments. And you asked about the market share. We have market share target to continue to work towards 50% in commercial vehicles, and the immediate target, once we cross the double digit for passenger cars, then we want to go towards 15%. And you asked about the losses. I think many people also mentioned about the loss. And the loss last year, apart from the operation loss, there is a one-time impairment because of the JLR decision towards go all electric, and that was a one-time impairment charge and provision that was made towards potential liabilities from suppliers. And someone else also asked, I think Mr. Kotwani asked later on, what is going to be the impairment or provisions in 22, 23, 24 towards the JLR's plan of 2025 all electric. I think we have, whatever we have to take, we have taken it in FY21. Our order book is quite strong, and the JLR is about more than 100,000 units, and Tata Motors PV is about 40,000 units. Ms. Aarti Tekriwal asked about semiconductors. See, we think that the semiconductor situation will improve from the second half of the year. So we are not suggesting any impact of that in FY23 or FY24 at this point in time. Also, later on, one of your colleagues asked about impact of that in the EBIT targets for FY26. We don't see any impact of that in FY26 targets. Mr. Ashok Subramaniam, thank you for many suggestions that you and your daughter made, and I have noted down. Whether it is on the offline maps, or on service qualities, or in mobile app, or on the DVR underperforming situation in the DVR and what can be potentially done, and also the difference you find between different service centers. We have taken note of all that, and we will see what we can do to address that. Mr. Tamal Mujumdar, you asked a number of questions. Let me try to answer them. The PV subsidiarization, the scheme of arrangement has been already filed with the NCLT and the hearing has been concluded and we are waiting for the order. And we can't tell you definitively any date, but we are definitely waiting on that order. You asked about the investment expenditure detail. For FY21, it was 19,800 crores. For FY22, the plan is 28,900 crores. That is basically the 2.5 billion pounds for JLR on an annual basis and 3,000 to 3,500 crores for Tata Motors. And the status of the CCA order, all I want to clarify is that the order, the CCA has not made any final or binding observation. TML will provide all the necessary information as may be required. And you asked about Mark Listosia. See, Mark Listosia could not join and did not join for personal reasons as he was not able to relocate to India for his own personal reasons. And why, despite the loss, the company has booked a provision for a tax. I think it's an unfortunate thing. It's an accounting treatment. It is not a cash treatment. It is an accounting treatment. And it was primarily due to the inability to recognize the UK deferred tax relating to the pension and hedging arising in the period in OCI and due to the current UK tax loss profile. This is an accounting treatment issue and not a cash issue. And you asked about the details of the Slovakia performance in 21 and 22. The Defender, overall the FY21 Defender retail was 45,000 units. It was also asked by Smitasha later on. The car that won the award is the Defender. FY21 retail was 45,000 units. And this year, first quarter, it is 17,200 units. And the Discovery, which is also made in Slovakia, the retail was 19,000 units in FY21 and Q1 was 6,200 units. And you asked about Marco Polo transaction that is waiting for RBI approval. You asked about the EV vision, which I already mentioned that we will be looking at launching 10 products at least before 2025 and looking for a share of about 25% in our portfolio. The government incentives you asked about, they are all investment promotion as well as exports related incentives both in the India and in UK. And I think I've answered most of your questions. If there are any, we can definitely connect with you offline. Ms. Sunita Bulchandani, we don't have any other subsidiarization plan at this stage. It's only the PV. And alternate fuels for CV, as I said, we are already working on hydrogen fuel cells and we have the first order. We already have produced 7 such vehicles, but we have the order for 15 vehicles. But it is all in the trial stage and we need to have a long-term plan. We are working on it. Ms. Aditi, you asked about non-core assets. Yes, we are looking at sales of non-core assets. You asked about competition in EV. Yes, certainly at the higher end of the market, there are many people launching, but the Tata Motor EV is at a particular price point, and also others asked about launching of our affordable EVs. The Tigor EV that we have will be launching at a higher range in FY22, and also we will look at more affordable EVs in the future years. And we don't have definitive dates to announce today. Ms. Nega Agarwal, you asked about outlook for CV and PV. It's very difficult to predict because of the situation that we're coming out of, but we do hope that the vaccination, as it improves, we will have a better situation and the CV will pick up and the PV demand is there. We just want to make sure that the supply chain issues are resolved and more customers are able to come to the showrooms. Already talked about the market share, and the debt, as I said, is at 40,000 crores now. We will continue to look for reducing them both through operational cash flows, free cash flows, as well as on non-core asset depreciation. Mr. Gautam Tiwari talked about Bombay House. Bombay House is function with a limited opening at this stage. We will open up for more employees as the situation gets better. Market share in EV is about 77% currently. And I already answered the question in hydrogen. EV percentage in JLR. JLR has mixed levels of EV between BEV, PHEV, and MO. All these together, we do about 61% today. Mr. Kotwani already talked about why are we making loss. And the NCD is primarily to manage liquidity. Tata Sons has fully paid all the money towards the shares issued. I understand your concerns about dividend. We pretty much have the same concern. We are working towards definitely ensuring that we make Tata Motors a dividend-paying company very soon. Hopefully, we should do that. And in terms of Safari booking, we have about 10,000 units that are already in booking. 6 weeks of bookings. Okay. Ms. Beena Pinto already answered your questions on semiconductor and 2026 targets. Mr. Praful Chawda, thank you all so much for a detailed feedback on camera and usage of camera and the related safety measures. We will definitely take note of that and pass it on to the design team. Mr. Ashit Kumar Patek, already I talked about scrappage policy and charging station. Yes, we have plans to expand significantly on charging station. Tata Motors is working with Tata Power, and we are expanding to at least 25 cities, and goal is to have at least 10,000 charging stations in the coming years. Ms. Rachana Prasad, I answered your questions on semiconductors and alternative. Yes, we are looking at alternative sources, and Tata Motors is making progress. In fact, some of the reasons why we are able to sell the cars at this stage and produce the EVs is primarily because of that. And on JLR, we are looking at a number of options, including working directly with the semiconductor manufacturers, and those discussions are on, and the particular contracts with them are all being negotiated. We will see. Preeti Agarwal, we already talked about CapEx plan. Ms. Mascarenes, I answered your question on affordable EV and also on debt-free. Mr. Mascarenes, I answered your questions on dividend. You asked about vaccination for staff. 85% of our employees are already vaccinated once. 14% have been double vaccinated. The goal is whenever people become eligible for the second vaccination, we want to vaccinate them and also vaccinate all the 100% of the employees. Physical shares, the company secretary department can help you. Mr. Priyadarshan Naik, I think on the BEML disinvestment, these are rumors and I cannot really comment on those rumors. On service and spares, basically because of the COVID and a lot of restrictions, there has not been movement. Usage of vehicles have dramatically come down during the year. That has really caused also the service and spares revenue to come down. JLR, I think it's primarily, to do with the impairment that I talked about. And currently there are no plans for demerger, but I hear your comments. Mr. Bharat Shah, thank you for your appreciation. Smita Shah, thank you for your appreciation. I already talked about the Defender sales that you had asked. Mr. Jaideep Bakshi, affordable EVs, as I said, we have plans in the coming years. and the Tigor EV will come definitely with a higher range. The raw material price has been pretty significant on Tata Motors, and the company has worked very hard to still continue to improve their contribution margin and the EBITDA, primarily by looking at a lot of ideation to see where all the usage of steel can be saved, and also negotiating other material costs. Mr. Manoj Kumar Gupta, thank you for your comments. Mr. Pranay Tade, thank you for your comments. Mr. Vineet Duskar, the Nano EV is already existing in some form currently. And on petrol variants, Harrier and Safari, I take your comment. We will see what can be done. Mr. Bimal Agarwal, didn't attend. Mr. Vinod Agarwal, I already answered your question on scrappage policy. We will look at in the group what it means for scrappage centers and how we can gainfully use it to address our sales and increase our sales. Mr. Adil Irani, thank you for your comments, and I don't have specific answers except for your questions on Canada. In Canada, JLR has a very strong presence, and their cars are more suited for that market. And we retailed about 10,900 vehicles in FY21. And the Nexon is extremely popular among young customers, and 60% of the customers are below 35 years of age. Especially we have received a very, very strong response for that dark variation. In fact, the number I talked about, 60%, is for that particular variation. And I know your views, but different customers and different segments of customers have got different preferences, and Tata Motors has to address all customer segments. I appreciate your comments, though. With that, we come to the end of the session with speaker shareholders. Now I would like to authorize Mr. Hoshan Setna, Company Secretary, to conduct the voting and also conclude the meeting. The e-voting facility will remain open for the next 15 minutes to enable the members to cast their vote. At this point in time, I would also like to join all of you shareholders, and we, the management and the board, are very deeply appreciative of the enormous service that Mr. Hoshan Setna has provided to the company. And we acknowledge his contribution, and we will miss him when he retires. And we wish him very well, and we will continue to stay in touch with him to see how we can be helpful to each other. Thank you, Hoshan. The results of the meeting will be announced not later than 2 working days from the conclusion of the meeting, and the same would be intimated to the stock exchange and uploaded to the website of the company as well as to NSDL. In the end, I once again thank all the shareholders for attending the meeting and for your patience and continued support. I also would like to thank all the directors for their support to me and to the management, and also for attending the meeting today. With your consent now, I and all the board members would like to leave the meeting, and I wish all the shareholders a safety and healthy year ahead. Thank you all very much.